Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I thought we would start this episode off with food, as last time we started off straight into a workout. So today I've got that, which I'm going to be making into a little breakfast kind of burger thing. Be nice. Of course, it wouldn't be right to not give you guys a bit of yolk porn by the looks of things, because the first yolk did run, but never mind. So, in we go. Well, that's everywhere. After that filthy bit of yolk porn that you saw there, it is now today, Monday. So I did record little bits and pieces from yesterday, but yeah, the footage was a bit crap and I wasn't really saying much, so I was like, let's just delete it and carry on with the rest of the vlog. So Monday means chest day, chest, shoulders and triceps. So I'm gonna go and train a few clients, then I'll catch up with you in the gym. So in this voiceover, I'm going to come and talk a little bit about this workout, but also touch on a subject of what I would tell my younger self if I could travel back in time and tell him, look, you need to start training and eating differently. So first off, I would tell myself to not be in a calorie deficit so much and don't care about them abs. Too many people put an emphasis on the six-pack. Too many people put an emphasis on being lean. When you're growing up, I can completely understand it. And I was in that position myself, because you wanted to get abs, you wanted to impress girls. That's just the way that the teenage body works. But trust me when I say, there's a big difference between having abs and being lean. So you can get a little shadow of abs, and to be honest, that's probably what the girls are going to care about. A little shadow of abs, but being very lean, getting to the position where you're like getting close to shredded, girls don't care about that. Girls don't care about veins popping out of your abs. So don't spend so long in a calorie deficit. That's number one. Number two is training. Don't do different workouts every single day in the gym. I used to make up new workouts for every single session. Every single session was different. And I didn't focus on progressive overload. I would just go in and train hard, push myself very, very hard, but not really get much in the terms of progressive overload. Next, in terms of training, was supersets. Now, this is a stupid style of training, but I used to superset pretty much every single exercise. It would be bench press into leg raises, it would be shoulder press into lateral raises, it would be front raises into rear delts. It was always supersets, and a lot of the time I would superset exercises with abdominal exercises, which isn't so bad. But when you're supersetting two different exercises for similar muscle groups, you create so much fatigue in your muscles that your performance is going to be lacking a lot. You're not going to be able to get the most amount of your session if you're constantly going from one exercise into the other without rest periods. So don't superset everything. Take adequate rest periods and make sure you're implementing progressive overload. Now, I realise I was talking at the beginning of this video about not looking shredded and not getting abs, and a little bit hypocritical of me now, but the thing is, I've had that training experience now. I've built that muscle. So if I'm aiming to get lean for a photo shoot like I am, I'm not going into a position where I needed to build muscle in that time when I was younger. But I spent so much time in a calorie deficit that I wasn't building the muscle. And really, when you're younger and you're growing up and you've got all those teenage hormones going through you, couple that with a calorie surplus and you're a grow bag. You can grow so much in so little time during that time. So take full advantage of it. Eat sensibly, eat enough, and don't get fat. Like, people think that just because you're saying, okay, you need to grow, you need to be in a calorie surplus, you need to bulk, you need to put yourself in a gaining phase. People think that that means you need to get fat. That's not the case at all. Like, there will be fat gain, of course, because you are in a surplus and you are building muscle. But getting fat is also not productive either. Like, your nutrition partitioning start to drop off. You stop being so sensitive to insulin, things like that. So don't get fat, but progress with your weight, and don't be afraid of the number on the scales. Fortunately for me, I never got attached to weighing myself or numbers on the scales. I looked in the mirror, I thought, okay, I could do with being a little bit leaner, so then I did a mini cut, or I would go into like a gaining phase for like a month, like a bulk for a month, which is stupid, and then cut again. When you put yourself into a gaining phase, this is another topic. Take your time. Take your damn time. Increase your food slowly, but increase your food. I'm not talking like 10 calories a day. I'm talking a proper increase. If your weight's not moving, take it up by another 100 calories. If you've been stuck at a weight for the same week, yeah, you can increase your food again. Like, don't be so slow that you're not actually progressing, because that's another situation you can get yourself into, is trying to go into a calorie surplus or maintenance, but you're so scared of putting up your calories that you're not progressing at all. You're just staying in a deficit, in and out of a deficit. So the next thing I would say to myself as well is, don't compete so young. I competed at a pretty young age, and I could have probably done with the experience or the time to build muscle. Although I did a photo shoot when I was very young, and I went into that with very good condition, I should have either done that photo shoot and then done a competition straight away, or do that photo shoot, go into a big gaining phase, and then not compete for like another 2 years. But I did this photo shoot. I got basically stage condition. I then went throughout the whole year pretty much at that condition, then competed, then stayed relatively close to that condition. Not good for growing, not good for any aspect of progress which you want to make. So that would be another tip that I would give myself. Now, I say all these tips, but to be honest, if I really think back to how I was back then, I would probably listen to this and ignore it and just continue doing what I was doing. Because in my mind, I was like, no, I'm different to other people. I can progress well, regardless of being in a calorie surplus. And I thought, I don't need to bulk. I can just do it really slowly and gain muscle slowly. I'm in no rush. But honestly, take the full advantage of your training age and go into a calorie surplus. The very last thing I would suggest to myself, which again, I'm not sure if my past self would have listened to this, but train your damn legs, you chicken-legged boy. I was very resistant to training legs for a very long time, which I regret every single day, especially calves, because I'm playing catch up on my legs, especially my hamstrings. I don't think I did a deadlift for I don't know how many years. I think the first deadlift I did was when I was maybe 20 or something like that, and you can see here from this physique shot that my hamstrings are lacking a lot. My quads are okay, they're coming along, but they've still got a lot of work to do, and my calves are incredibly small as well. So my advice to myself would be, train your damn legs, include some calves, get some hamstrings, and I used to focus so much more on my upper body, and I would forget about my lower body for some reason. I still don't really know why. On the flip side of that, I don't know if my knees would be the same if I did train legs when I was younger, but you know, we live and learn. We live and learn. So that was the push workout of today, and a very good session, to be fair. I enjoyed that quite a lot. There was one exercise which I got a little bit frustrated with, which is the high incline press. I probably shouldn't have gone up to 45s, but it is what it is. I've got a very, very good idea for a video which I'm going to do when I get back from the photo shoot. It's going to take about a week to do the full video, but I'm excited to do it. It'll be interesting to see. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to doing it. It'll be very interesting to see the results, not just for myself, but for my clients as well. So okay, so we've had a voiceover where I've talked about a subject, which was obviously what I would tell my younger self. Now let's have a little voiceover where we talk about the workout. So this was my pull workout from this week, my vertical focused pull workout. So I have one vertical and one horizontal focused pull, same as I have one quad focused and one hamstring focused legs day, and same as I have one shoulder focused and then one chest focused push day. So that's what I currently do: legs push pull, legs push pull. I start off with a heavy vertical pull, which in this case was the weighted pull-ups. I changed up from ring weighted pull-ups, which I did last training cycle, and they are very, very difficult, or they're more difficult than just regular weighted pull-ups, because the rings obviously move around, so you've got a little bit more stabilization to get in there. Then I go for a slightly different grip of a pull down, which is the close grip pull down. Really focus on driving the elbows towards your hips on this one. I find any back exercise, as long as you're focusing on driving your elbows past or towards your hips, you're pretty sound for your lat activation. Like even on barbell row, hips going, elbows going past your hips or back behind your hips, pretty solid. So this is kind of the main horizontal pull that I will do for the day. The rest of the stuff is more focused on vertical pull. There is one more horizontal pull, but we'll come to that. Next is a single arm pull down, which you get a unholy amount of oblique activation on this exercise as well, which I used to, when talking about my younger self, I used to isolate my abdominals in many different ways. I used to do wood choppers, Russian twist, all kinds of jazz. But now I pretty much just do cable curls and leg raises, and that's the only abdominal exercises I do really. The rest of it comes from exercises like this, where I'm engaging my lat and also squeezing my obliques. So the next exercise is a variation of a dumbbell shrug. It's a shrug basically with a wrist curl. I mentioned before, I've been training my forearms a little bit more recently, because I just feel like thick forearms look pretty aesthetic. So I've put in some thick forearm exercises, this being one of them, the main heavy compound. Towards the end of the exercise, it's quite difficult to get range of movement on the wrist curls, but yeah, you get the idea. This is the second horizontal pull, which is a single arm dumbbell drop set. We start off with 50 kilos, going for high reps on this. I go up to 16 reps, and then I drop the weight down to the 37.5s there, and I go for a further, I think I got 6 reps on this, I forget, but yeah, it's a drop set which I don't normally implement regularly into my training block. Like, I don't put it from the beginning of the training block to the end of the training block usually, but in this case I do. So because I basically maxed out these dumbbells in my gym, I've put extra plates on them and things like that. I do that for my heavy row day. I put extra plates on the 50 kilo dumbbell, but I don't want to be doing that all the time. So instead of adding more weight, I just add in more volume with a drop set and higher reps. Here we've got occlusion bicep work, which is very painful but so good. Like, the pump is amazing. You go from curls into failure, and then go into hammer curls. You can see my bicep veins about to pop there, and then you rest 20 seconds, and then you go again, curls into hammer curls, and usually I get about 15 to 17 reps on these. Because it's dumbbells, you can kind of use a little bit more momentum as the fatigue builds and builds and builds up, and then you can also go into single arm, and then you can go into hammer curls. So there's a way of kind of assisting on your reps, which with occlusion work is pretty painful but pretty good. So yeah, would recommend that. And then this is the final forearm exercise, which is just some wrist curls using the rolling bar. Now, instead of counting these, because you kind of like do 60 reps, 50 reps, 40 reps, I just time them. So you can see I've got my Fitbit there. I just start the timer, and then off I go for 40 seconds, and then rest, and then 40 seconds again. That's kind of the best way that I found this, because counting the reps, you kind of get a little bit carried away with going up close to 40 or 50 reps. Wednesday, so we're halfway through the week, and 3 days till I leave to go to Portugal. So we're going for our photo shoot in Portugal now. It's a week-long photo shoot, so it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. But 3 days, I've still maintained my weight from sort of last week to this week, which is good. I was kind of a bit unsure of how I would find maintaining this weight, but it's actually been extremely easy. I'm gonna go and train a couple of clients, and then we're gonna go and train ourselves. And today is leg day, and I'm gonna get my hair cut today, so the hood won't be up the whole time, but it will be up the majority of the time, because my hair looks like shit. Pre-workout wise, I thought I would try the other sample from Thor Supplements. This one is Bursting Berry flavor. So, oh shit. Oh, yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna try 3/4 of the sample from Thor Supplements, and I'm also gonna add to it. So we're gonna add a little bit of Purge Pre-V2. The Stimumax is a very good pre-workout. However, I have felt that once I take it, I don't sleep so well at night. Now, it's not got a massive amount of caffeine, but the sausage tree extract, or the alternative to DMA, is probably what's doing that. So I'm gonna lay off that for a little bit, as it is quite effective of affecting my sleep. I'll probably save it for like sessions where you need that kind of extra focus, because I was getting to bed at like 10:15, and I'm still awake at like midnight, and then 1 o'clock I'm just lying there, I'm like tossing and turning, can't get comfortable. So I think it's Stimumax. We'll see. It might be something else, but we'll see. TBF, it could be quite a lot of things, because I've had a very stressful week this week, and got some personal shit going on. So yeah, it's been a it's been a bit of a stressful. If I was gonna have a poor week of sleep, it would have been this week. Let's just say that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to finish the video very soon, because basically my computer's disk drive is full. I've tried to delete as much as I can, but I can't really seem to free up enough space. But I thought I would include these last two clips. So the first exercise you saw there was just kind of some dynamic movements, which I do before my rack pulls, deadlifts, or kind of anything on a leg day. I'll do some form of activation and dynamic movements just to get hips and things moved up. And then we got 200 for 4 sets of 4, and my form has vastly improved from last week. Last week I was working with 190, but I was bouncing a lot, and it wasn't really a rack pull, it was more of a rack bounce pull or some bollocks like that. So I came down, I made sure that I was at a full stop, and then I pulled up. So it's below the knee as well, which is the kind of best way to do a rack pull if you're trying to include some hamstring and glute activation. If you want to include a little bit more just trap and upper back focused, then you could kind of do a higher pull than a below the knee.